How's it going, guys? It's been a minute. I haven't made any videos. It's been a long winter. I haven't been very motivated. Um, but there's still a lot to talk about, that's for sure. Um, I was just thinking in my head, I'm just like, it drives me nuts and it blows my mind of how actually oblivious that most people are um, when it comes to cybersecurity um, and securing their devices, their networks. People think that they know. But the more that I see and I hear and I look at people talk, especially within the TI community, the more I realize how little they really know, right? And I'm just like, wow, like this, no, no wonder it's so easy to just pick off a TI because, most TIs are very intellectual, right? Like we have a sixth sense, we have a sense ability, but I'm seeing like a lot of TIs are really not understanding the value and seeing the value and how significant it is to learning cybersecurity, right? It's actually life altering, especially for a TI. It's literally life altering. This is what you need to do. You need to learn Kali Linux. You have to. Because it's going to give you such an advantage. Everything is going into a digital world, right? Where everything is switching to digital. We rely more on our on Wi-Fi, on our devices. Everything is online, everything is digital, everything in your house is connected to the Wi-Fi. Anything that can be connected to the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or any frequency or radio frequency can be hacked. Okay, but here's the thing: the reason why that is because you don't have the knowledge in order to harden these systems, like your Wi-Fi network, like your phone. Now, a lot of TIs think, oh, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter what you do. They're always going to be able to gain access and take over my stuff, and they're messing with me and everything like that. Now, that's actually not true. There's actually, by default, your phone, your Wi Fi network, your router, your everything, by default, is set with the default security settings. Okay. All you have to do is actually go into the settings and change some things. For example, your phone has a setting inside of it. Now, a lot of people, a lot of TIs talk about, what do you call it, the Stingray attack, right? Stingray attack, right? A lot of people are worried about that. Are they educated on it? No, because I hear everybody talking about Stingray attacks, but little do they know how Stingray attacks actually work, okay? And 2G, 3G, 4G, right? Now we know about 5G, we know about all the, the negative health impacts about all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G gets more encrypted as you go. So 2G, your traffic, your texting, you know what I'm saying? Like everything you're doing on your phone can be intercepted, decrypted, and they can monitor what you're doing and saying, right? Text messages, phone calls through a Stingray attack, where they have a cell that acts like a real cell tower and it intercepts your traffic. So that way your phone connects to the cell, the bad cell, not the real cell tower, and it basically creates a man in the middle attack. Now, it was easier on 2G, it was a little bit less easier on 3G. 4G, now it's really encrypted. 5G, it's even more encrypted. It just keeps going. It gets more and more encrypted and more difficult for a Stingray attack to actually work. Now, Stingray attacks actually don't work anymore on Android 14, 15 because they've developed better security to stop that from happening. But there's a setting on your phone that allows for your phone to be forced to 2G, forced to use 2G, right? So if your phone goes down to 3G, 2G, and you're supposed to be on 4G, there's a possibility that a Stingray attack is actually happening because an attacker can actually trick your phone and force it into using 2G if you don't turn off that setting in your phone. Now, I did make a video showing you guys how to do that. So just simple things like that. But I guarantee you 98% of TIs have not found this setting and they didn't turn it off. And they're not going to. They'll still keep complaining about my Wi-Fi's hacked, I'm Stingray, they're reading all my stuff, when they could literally do multiple things that would literally, they're it's like they're just wide open, just willing to be attacked, you know, and they're not doing anything about it. They're just complaining about it. So this is where knowledge is power, right? Now here's another one. If somebody was on your Wi-Fi network or a device that's not supposed to be connected to it, you can actually see that and then block that device by its MAC address and its IP address. So even if the attacker has the password to your Wi-Fi, they still can't get on because their device is blocked, their MAC address. Now, of course, they could use something that changes their MAC address. That usually typically works on laptops and stuff like that. Phones doesn't really let you change your MAC address. Now, there's apps that claim that they do, but even those apps probably are backdoors. When you download them, you're giving an attacker access to your phone. Here's another one that you probably don't know. APKs. What is an APK? I'm sure you've downloaded an APK. It always feels kind of sketchy, right? An APK is just an Android application in its raw form before it ends up on the Play Store, before you download and install it. That's all it is. But if you download an Android app or an APK in its raw form, it could have a backdoor in it. Now, when it gets uploaded to Google Play, they usually scan for those things, and that's why they'll stop it from going onto the Play Store. Now, you can obviously, attackers can bypass that as well, and you can still end up downloading even a pretty legitimate app that has a backdoor in it, giving full access to your phone, your text messages, your camera, your audio, everything. So I actually make APKs that are malicious, that are payloads, right, that have backdoors in them. If somebody, I can disguise it as a PDF, I can disguise it as any application I want, Facebook, Instagram, any application I want to mimic or clone, I can create this APK, send it to somebody, and if they download it, I'll have full access to their phone, their camera, their audio, their text messages, their call logs, everything on their phone, everything they're doing, you can see it in real time. Even when you log in to your accounts, now I have your credentials. So how do you get around that? There's so many ways around that. First of all, right now, I'm using a Google Pixel 7, which is an older version, or, you know, there's 8 Pro, there's 9 now, there's 9 Pro. So it's an old version of Google Pixel. I know what you might say about Google, I get it, yeah. Google has infiltrated all of us, they own all of our data. There's not much we can do about that, it's like the government, like I said. Okay, so I'm just trying to break this down in a way that people can understand. I also lost my train of thought a little bit because there's a bee trying to sting me or something. But bottom line is, oh yeah, so the phone that I'm using, okay, doesn't download these APKs, and it's Android. So, and the reason why that is because I'm using Android 15. It's an older Google phone, but it's using Android 14. So after Android 14, sorry, I'm using Android 15. But from Android 14 to 15, it now blocks the ability for you to download a malicious APK. The payloads that I generate. Because when I got this phone, all of my other Androids, it worked. And I was able to get a reverse shell, right? And, you know, this is what I do. I made videos demonstrating this stuff. It's not like a fairy tale or something. So, and like I say, you can go on my TikTok. It's called Learn How to Hack in 10 Minutes. You know, I'll leave a link for that, and then also a link for my online course where I teach people all this stuff and I demonstrate it live so you can see that it's real and how it works and what you can do to stop it or block it. So anyways, I can't install these APKs anymore because I have an upgraded version of Android. 14 and up won't let you download these malicious things. Now, before 14 and 15, every single Android phone could download one of these APKs and you could be hacked. Not anymore. Security's getting better. Now, obviously, attackers will find a way around that, but right now, as of now, there is no way around it. So that's one thing, right? There's so many different things, right? Like, here's another thing. When you learn how to use Kali Linux, right? Which I'm going to teach you how to do when you join my, when you join my program, my online course and stuff like that. I teach you how to do all this stuff. I teach you how to, and it might seem crazy, like rocket science. Like, I've had 60-year-olds join my course and learn how to do this stuff, and all of a sudden they're like a teenager. They're able to do like technical things that a older person probably doesn't know how to do, which is kind of funny to see an elderly person on that technical level, right? Which is good. That's what we need. Knowledge is power. So they're taking their power back, because elderly people are targeted the most when it comes to scams, when it comes to technology. They're not very fond of what the hell's going on, so they're easily targeted and easily picked off and scammed and robbed and whatever, so on and so forth. But for example, you could fire up Kali Linux on your laptop, type in ifconfig in a terminal, and it will give you your local IP address. Now, you have two IP addresses. There's a public IP address and there's a local IP address. The local IP address is the one attached to your device. It's not the IP address that you have to hide, that you have to worry about, like, oh, I gotta hide my IP address. You don't have to hide the local IP address. There's nothing that anybody can do with a local IP address, unless they're already on your network, but we'll get to that. You're good. You can't be tracked or anything through your local IP address, but through a public IP address, yes, you can be. So there's a big difference. TIs don't know about that either. They don't know the difference in between a local IP and a public IP, so they're just freaking out about all kinds of stuff. You don't have to be paranoid and scared and worried and live in fear and think you're compromised. There's ways to determine, there's ways to block it, and there's ways to get around it and be educated about it so you can avoid it. But anyways, when you get your local IP address from ifconfig, when you type in that command in Kali Linux, right? You'll get your local IP address, and then you can run it against Nmap. You can run an Nmap scan against your local IP address slash 24. You'll have an IP address like 192.168.0.1 or something like that. That's usually the router. But then you can do slash 24, and that'll go through a list of different IP addresses that are on your local network. And you can scan your local network using Nmap and see all the devices that are connected to your network. And using Nmap, you can actually see what ports are open, and you can actually potentially exploit and access these devices that are connected to the network. You can hack into them, and that's through Kali Linux using Nmap. But again, there's ways to avoid this. I guarantee you 99.9% of TIs don't know that, and they should and they could, but they just choose not to, right? So that's why I make these videos, because I realize that there's a serious need for this information and for TIs to get serious about cybersecurity. And I dedicated the last 10 13 years of my life to learning cybersecurity. Even when I was going through homelessness, every single day I went to the library with my laptop and I was learning this stuff on a very high technical level, and it paid off. I have such great power over these things now and knowledge that I no longer have any fear or worry about being compromised, because I can literally look and see, or I can block access in every single possible way. Now, of course, let me say one thing, right? The government, right? When it comes to governments, there's nothing you can do about governments. If they want access to something, they're going to get it. Now, you can block 98% of the ability for the government to infiltrate your data, or your device or your network or whatever it is, right? But for the most part, not much you can do. If you use an iPhone, do you realize that an iPhone is a direct backdoor to the government, and it's actually built structurally in a way that the internal operating system is a sandbox. Okay? And that sandbox can't be broken into. So me as a hacker, I actually don't have the ability to hack an iPhone. Why is that? Why can I hack an Android phone, but I can't hack an iPhone? Used to be able to hack iPhones, but the way that they built it and their security is abstract, and that's because it's the government security. It's a direct backdoor that the government has access to. Okay, Android is not the same. It's not built in a way that is immediately giving access to the government through their own remote, you know, access. So if you use an iPhone and you're complaining about being compromised by the government or infiltrated in any way, well, then you're a fool. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as I told you, knowledge is power. You don't have to be this way. You know what I'm saying? You could get. Now you might say, well, you just told me that you can hack Android, but you can't hack iPhone. So why would I want an Android? Well, I'll explain it to you. Knowledge is power. Stop living in fear. Stop being scared to do things. Empower yourself through knowledge, right? So we know that the iPhone is a backdoor right to the government. So why would you do that to yourself? Don't use an iPhone, okay? Okay, well, you told me that you can hack an Android, so why would I want to use an Android? Well, here's the catch. If you're going to get an Android phone, you're going to want to get a newer Android phone that has Android 14 or 15 or higher, because then you can't be hacked and you still get the benefits of an Android phone without the immediate direct backdoor to the government. You know, and you have more control over things. So instead of being scared about that, right? Knowledge is power, right? So I'm not worried about being hacked by downloading an app, because I know that my Android 14 and 15 actually has a new security system built into it that doesn't allow me to. And I've tried it to download my payloads that all my other Android phones were able to download, and I was able to get a reverse shell and hack that phone. I can't do that anymore. I can't do it on my phone. I have two Android phones. One of them is older. It's a Galaxy Samsung A70, and then this is the Google Pixel 7. So I use my other Android phone for testing of my payloads. I download and install them, and I get a reverse shell. And also for my demonstrations on my online course that I'm trying to, you know, let you guys know about. So there's so much that you can do. It's ridiculous. Like, once you get into this, first of all, it's addicting. You'll love it. And it's almost a sense of empowerment. You get some power back. You don't feel so helpless when it comes to like technology and like being compromised and hacked and being messed with. There's a way that you can remove all access, harden your system, your device, your network, your Wi-Fi, all of these things. And I teach all these things in my course, you know, and it's one-on-one. It's not just like I'm not engaging with you. Like, when you get into my Patreon and you do get access to these videos, and you can see how this works, and I help you actually step by step in a way that you'll understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm just, you know, I didn't know anything about this stuff when I first started, right? So I'm just like you. It seems intimidating. It's like, oh, I can't do this. Like, it's too much for me. It's not. I'm telling you right now, you can do it. You can do it. And when you start getting the hang of it, you're gonna feel happy. You're gonna be like, wow, this is crazy. Like, and you know, and then you can use your skills for good, right? Now, somebody could obviously learn all this stuff that I'm teaching in my course, and they could use it for bad. They could start hacking, you know, people's Android phones and Wi-Fi and, you know, laptops and whatever, networks and websites, and right. I can't stop people from doing that, but it's the same thing as with a gun. You could use a gun, you know, for good, to defend yourself, or, you know, maybe a store is getting robbed that you're in, and you're the only person that can do something about it, you know. But then there's people that will use a gun for bad. So it's not really the gun. It's literally, it's just like the gun is still needed to hunt, to defend. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with this hacking thing. And a lot of TIs look at hacking like it's evil and it's bad and it's only for the evil and the bad people. you're so wrong, and that's what's contributing to the problem, because you're not willing to learn this stuff based off of your stigmatized ideology about it, your perspective. So anyways, I'll just wrap this video up, but I have a lot that I want to teach you guys, and it's actually, it would be like majorly significant to your life, like, and it's the future. This is something you want to start learning right now. So if you guys want to actually, start learning this stuff, I have a course where I'll engage with you guys one-on-one in there through my Patreon. There's 3 different memberships. One is like, $50 a month is the lowest one. Now, obviously, TIs have a problem with being able to sustain income, and, the system chewing us up and spitting us out, making it so we can't, just wiping us out financially, right? It's a systematic, strategic thing. So this actually gave me the power back to be able to actually generate revenue and income in a way that the system or the program can't take away from me or disrupt. It gives me the power back over my finances. So I want to teach TIs how to do this stuff so they can also do the same, and they can actually make some money doing this. There's a career involved in it. You can get jobs. You can make a business out of it, like I am with my course and stuff. Once you get really good and you learn and you have value to offer to people, and you have something significant to teach people that people are willing to pay you money for, $50 a month, anybody can do that. Even when I was on welfare and I was homeless, living out of a tent, I could do $50 a month if I think it's worth it. And to be honest, if I had somebody like me 10 years ago to teach me this stuff for $50 a month, I would immediately jump on that. I would have such a significant advantage. It wouldn't have took me 10 years to get to where I'm at right now. It would have took me a year instead of 10 years. So it is beneficial. It's valuable. So like I said, there's 3 memberships. One's 50, I think the other one's like 80, and another one's like over $100. But when you read what comes along with that and what I'm offering, what you're going to be learning, what I'm teaching, and having access to me one-on-one, you'll understand the value pretty quickly. And also, I can do a lot of things for you. I could scan your network and see what open ports are on your, like what ports are open on your network, what devices are connected. I can help you. I can do things for you. If you didn't want to learn it yourself and get hands-on, and you just needed somebody with these technical skills to help you achieve something, then I could do that. It's funny because I get a lot of scammers that are trying to scam me, and then also obviously I get a lot of trolls, that a lot of gang stalkers that get mad that I'm teaching TIs this stuff. They really don't want TIs to know this stuff. It becomes a serious threat to them and their establishment. But I get harassed a lot, so sometimes now, and it's not ethical. I'm not recommending for you to learn to do this, but sometimes I'll send a little link over to the gang stalker, to the the harasser, the stalker that won't stop stalking me for years. And when they click it, well, I have their IP address, their exact location, what device they're using, what version. Like, it'll literally tell me Samsung Galaxy A70 or whatever it is, iPhone 14, iOS 16.3 point whatever, like, you know what I mean? Your ISP, so if whatever phone provider they're with, your internet provider, and a bunch of different information just from a link click. Right now, I have that advantage against this scammer, and now they're scared when I show them right on the map where they are, their IP address, what phone they're using. It scares the shit out of them, and then they run away and they hide, and then they're kind of scared to fucking do shit like that now, right? And that's a win for the good team, for the good side. You know what I'm saying? So, and I can do stuff like that, and it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not ethical. I'm not suggesting that you do this, because technically it's like teeter-tottering on the fence of illegal and legal. It's not ethical. But when it comes to scammers and evil people that are harassers and stalkers that won't stop harassing you, sure, here you go, here's the link, click, boom, there you are, stupid, right? Boom. Can you do that as a TI? I doubt it. Would you like to be able to do it? I guarantee it. If you don't, then you're not very smart. So I can teach you how to do all that stuff. And I show it and demonstrate it live in my course and also on my videos on my channel, how to defeat gang stalking. So anyways, hit me up, write in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Send me an email, whatever, defeatgangstalking@gmail.com. And let me know what you'd be interested in learning. Check out my videos, go on the course. I'll leave the link in the description and in the comments downstairs to my course. And if you sign up and you join and you pay for a membership, I will see that immediately and I'll message you. And, you know, I'll, I'll be there to help you right away. By the way, there's a guy over here flying a drone. And it's funny because if I had my laptop, which I would not obviously do, you know what I'm saying, because it's illegal. But, you know, technically speaking, if I wanted to, I could actually intercept his drone and hack it right out of the sky and make it fall out of the sky, or I could actually force it to come to me. And there's a tool inside Kali Linux that's used to do that, and it's to test the vulnerabilities of drones, to make them better, right? To harden the security, because once you figure out what the, you know, the security flaw, then you can patch it, right? But that's another cool thing. You can hack drones, you know. I would like to buy. I'm still wanting to buy a drone, and demonstrate, right? But it's pretty expensive for a drone. So, but anyways, let me know what you guys think.